Pleasant good morning, one and all. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Monday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome to this wonderful, glorious Monday morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope you're looking forward for a very productive week. Today, Monday, the 9th day of September in the year 2024. Welcome, one and all. Welcome. I hope you students had a good night's rest because it's pace and power. So make sure that you're here. Sit back, relax, get your notebooks, and make sure that you benefit from the information that we will be sharing. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio, always early. The other teacher, always early and ready to go. Today, as I've said, a very good day, one that the Lord has made, another good day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's celebrate being in the land of the living. Many persons would not have been this fortunate. So yes, as you know, you come on. Right now, you need to know the drill. You come on, share the live, let people know that we're on, and also get the like button. Give us a thumbs up. Once you give us a thumbs up, then you're going to get the algorithms working so others who are not regulars will know about this program. You know, we have a far reach. We have a wide reach, and we want to expand even further. So you do your part by liking, giving us a thumbs up, by following the page. As we tell you again on Facebook, follow on YouTube, subscribe, and you are going to get all the information that you need. And again, we have so much to tell you this morning. So much. I sure time can catch up with us, but we can come again. Remember, no letting up, no retreat, no surrender. So yes, folks, share the live, and let people know that we're on. Give us a thumbs up. I don't have enough. I believe one of these days I'm going to go on strike, One of these days I'm going to set you all up nicely. I'm going to start the program, and then when I'm satisfied with the amount of shares and the amount of thumbs up, I'm going to down my tools. I'm going to go on strike. I'm going to go up on the picket line. So you better watch out. Do your part, and I will do mine. I, along with my colleague, we will do ours. That is, we will research, and we're going to bring you the credible, valuable information. I have so much to tell you. We have so much to tell you this morning, and we're going to keep rolling. By now, we know the format. This morning, the program was scheduled just about 7. You early birds, I have already advised that we're going to be trying to do it about 7 o'clock in the morning, just around 7 o'clock. So if you want to be in the schoolyard very early, that is the time you have to come when we are opening the gate. When we are opening the gate, and you're going to be there early. So as soon as we schedule, just about 7:01, almost immediately, right, the people were here. And again, we had some technical issues in that I had to leave the studio. And I noted now, as I have informed you, that once you leave the studio, when you get back in, those people who commented early, those comments are no longer there. They are no longer there. So in any event, I did something this morning which will allow me to see the comments of those who are not in at this time. And we are going to do the roll call. And whatever comments are made that are worthy of being mentioned, I will do so because I have the comment. You know, when you encounter these issues, you have to have your walk around. How you walk around these technical and other issues. You have to put your brain to work, and we are going to be able to do it. So roll call. When we came on this morning, it was 7:01. Let me get a note. The first person this morning, or two, came in together. Would have been Matthew James and John Cummins. They both came in at 7:01. Matthew and John came in at 7:01. And then the man from Linden, the man in the Hills, Bartlett, came in next. Then it was Raul, George. Raul was followed by Carlton, my squad mate. Then Derek, Kenneth out of Maryland, Peter Nunes, Earl Abrams, Wayne Little from the UK, Lennox Anderson, Pauline McPherson. Pauline came in next. And then after Pauline, it was Inferno Boss, followed by Anthony Jarvis, Leon Gibbons, Carl Johnson, Devian came next, Marva. Then it was Raul. This time is Raul Semple and Floyd Tapin, Winston Kilkenny from California. Magnell came next. Rhonda, and this is Rhonda Chance. Then it was Joan from New Amsterdam, Sean from Schenectady, Felicia, Desiree, and Desiree is from Georgia, I think. Tessa from Florida, Evelyn, Lucius from Maryland, Puran Ramdas from the Essequibo Coast, Ivan Dani, Gaston Taylor from Canada, Patricia G from New Jersey. Then it was Sean Maxwell, followed by Gary Barrow, Vibert, and this is Lawson. And he immediately was followed by another Vibert Smith. Then it was Anthony Bradshaw, Barbara Barrington, Heather, Richard, Aubrey from Canada, Patricia, Pamela from West Dem, Anka, Paul, and then Lynette Fraser. So those names that I called you there were struck off from the list when I came back in. So we have now, as I said, the first person that is reflected here is Lynette. And after Lynette, then we have Colin, Ronald, Francis Keith is here, Brennan, William. Then we have another Vibord, John. Then it was Kay, Claremont, Patrick, Cecile. Then it was Gavin. And you know, Lynette came back to tell us, she's thanking us for letting the Guyanese people know the truth. And we will continue to come and let Guyanese people know the truth. Jakey is here, Brian, Courtney, the Sauls, Brian Saul and Courtney Saul, they came in at the same time, 7:23. Sherwin, then it was Neville, Walterine, Carlisle, Tilula, Marcia, Umi, Terrence, 9795, always proud to state his number, regulation number. Then Organized Chaos is here, and he's thanking us too. Then the other Rhonda from Denham still in the house. Then it is Ezzy, Princess Orr from Lamar Springs, Clive Nestor from the UK, Norbert, Paul from Canada, Phil, then it is Clarence, Derek, and this is Derek McCalmont, Glendon, 0540, Glendon, one of my mates from Namibia, United Nations Transition Assistance Group, UNTAG. We were all there together. Then it was Floyd, Andrew is here, the new name, I think. Queenie came in. Then it is Kevin, Bert, Debbie from Providence, Melissa, Mary, Ulrich, my squad mate, he's in Barbados now, Wayne, Denise from Florida, Linda. Then it is after Linda, Sheena, George, called her my countryman, Colin, Randall Jr., Nicola, Angela, Angela from West Coast, Bobbies, Richard, Rayburn. Then it is Oren from UK, my old domino sparring mate, Malcolm, Pito, 8152 from Queens. Then it was Emerson, Everett from Texas, Bonita, West Coast Bobbies in the house again, Carl, my squad mate from Arizona, Leon Swartz, 10025, old TSU man. Then is it Chisel Chipper, 68. Welcome. Then after Chisel, it is the one and only Rohan, Jahwar. Then Marcus, Aileen, our female umpire. She got a lot to smile about these days. After Aileen, it was Grantley. Then BV man, Ezekiah. That's another countryman too of mine. BC, then Ulrich, 8385, I think, Ulrich Atkinson. Then you have Joseph, Sharon, Forgus. The secretary is here. She came in at 9:32. I don't know if that is acceptable for the secretary, but she's here early. Some people come in at this time and apologize for being late. The program starts at 11 o'clock. So if you're there anytime before, you're not late. Then it's Stephanie, Maureen, Vernon from New Jersey. Colin is here. Colin is the old police, 6984. Lance, Doreen, my squad mate from Canada, W349. Sandra, Courtney is here. Vibert from East Bank. Then it is George. This is another George. This is George Mars. Then Russ Ricardo is in the house, waiting, he said, for Sir Paul. Clifton, I missed you a few weeks. Clifton is all the way from Paris. I missed you a few weeks, my brother. Good to see you back. Lyndon, then it was Carville. Jacko, the Romanian man, but when he's not quarantined, he's now back in Georgia. Delan is here, Orville. Then it was O'Neill, Anne, Stephen, Marcus, excuse me, Siobhan, Barbara, Gary, Morton, Charles, Jean. Then it was Royston, Charlene, welcome. Winston, Troy, McGarvey, Gordon, R. Crawford, Jason, Rastaman, John, Diane, Gordon. Then it was, after Gordon, it was who? Melville, Roderick, Chilo is here, Dorette, Allison, the angel is here, the angel. Maury is here as well. Then we have Lorraine, Grace, welcome Grace. Simo, 0539, Ivla, cricketer. We know him as Joseph Simpson, big cricketer, Ghana cricketer, outstanding batsman. Then we have Nigel, Michael, Dwayne, Isabella. Debbie came back, William, that's a name I haven't seen before. And then those are all the people in the schoolyard. And when the school gate was open, we had first Karen, followed by O'Malley, followed by Edward. Edward is always here very early. Commissioner Cole is here, welcome. Elvis, that is Calvin, Audrey, Abdul from Essequibo Coast, Rosie Rose, they're all here. Edmund, then Jormin, Ryan. The list goes on and on and on. So if I continue, we won't get to the meat of the thing. So that is the roll call for now. And I've always promised to come back late in the program, but we get so caught up that I don't remember to come back. I try to remember today to come back to acknowledge a few more persons. So in terms of the, let me put this away. In terms of the announcements, the death, it's always unfortunate when you have to announce deaths. I told you last week about the death of my squaddy, 9488 John Ames. The arrangements are now known. He will be, there will be a church service in Brooklyn at Gorino Funeral Home, 9222 Flatlands Avenue. That will be on Friday from 4 p.m. And then after that, there will be a repast at the American Legion Hall that is located in 92nd Street, Brooklyn. And that's on the Friday. But the night before, Thursday, there's going to be a wake at the same American Legion Hall in 92nd Street. And then the burial will take place the following day, that's Saturday the 14th at Cypress Hill Cemetery. So yes, my squad mates who are on, and we have been communicating this. I have a lot to say about my squad. I hope I break down. We were so close that I have to find the strength to do what is expected of me. So yeah, so John passed, and that's the arrangement. I'll announce it again on Wednesday, God's willing. And then we also have an announcement of Sir Shirdat Ramphal's arrangement. Now, the first thing that struck me, they said that he's going to have he's going to get a national funeral. He's going to get a national funeral. Not it's not a state funeral, I understand. When I saw the thing first, I never heard about a national funeral before. I know about state funeral. So they're still telling us that Sir Shirdat will be given a national funeral. Perhaps the government will explain to the nation what is a national funeral, what that is. So information is that will be on Saturday, Promenade Gardens at a particular time, and then based on the information, he will be interred in the gardens. There's 7 Ponds that is on Vicinian Road, where former Presidents Burnham, Hoyt, and some other outstanding Guyanese are buried. So that is what is being told to us. But I still want to know, what is a national funeral? Because I've never heard that term before. I know you get state funeral, I know you get military funeral, but I never heard, and that is being honest, I never heard about national funeral. So I don't know if it's the same, but perhaps they will need to clarify that. And then I regret again to announce the death of former Detective Corporal W235 Anita McCrae. Anita McCrae served for some time at CID, East Coast, and all of those places. Sybil, she was the wife for Aileen, and those people would have remember Leonard McCrae, that outstanding left-handed batsman in the Guyanese team in the 70s. A matter of fact, I can tell you as a little boy growing up, and when I started to follow police cricket, McRae was one of the most devastating batsmen in that middle order. Devastating. He played, I remember seeing him playing in the match for Guyana at Burda, and he made a swashbuckling 40-something. I don't think he had many chances, but he was devastating. He hit the ball all over the place. Leonard McRae died. So this person who died is his wife, Anita. She died. They were living in St. Martin, and the word is that she passed recently. Then a very good friend of mine, Michael Pereira. Those of you who are in Guyana might remember Michael Pereira was a senior man at Banks DIH. He passed away recently in Florida, and the information is that he's going to be buried on the 12th, Thursday the 12th, in Florida. And the last announcement in terms of death, we learned of the passing of Alan Monroe, who was a former chairman of Region 4. He was also, when I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission, he was chairman of the Teaching Service Commission. So he died recently. I'm not aware of the arrangements as yet, but he was also a long stalwart in the People's National Congress. So I'm sure they're going to be announcing shortly the funeral arrangements. And once we get that, we will let you know. And I want to take this opportunity to extend condolences to all the relatives, friends, colleagues of those who have passed, and say, may they rest in peace and rise in glory. Now, the next thing that I want to tell you about, well, we start with the sad part, then we're going to tell you what board is and so on. Now, the board date today, we have a board date today of Deputy Superintendent Neville Cadogan, Cody. We call him Cody. I think he's now West Demerara somewhere there. So Cody is observing. Some people say it's not board day because it's only one board day he could get. Well, you know what I mean. The date of his birth today, 9th of September, right? Is a birth anniversary. Then he got surprised, but I still got to wish he belated board day, even though we wished it pre-board day, we're going to wish he belated board day again. I'm referring to my co-host, Clinton Conway, who had a birth anniversary on Friday gone, right? So, CC, I know we spoke and so on. I know you didn't expect this, but belated as well. And then we had a board day of a good friend of mine, a very controversial friend at a board day recently. I met Mark Benchcock. Mark at a board day, he's a friend. When I had my farewell in 2010, he turned up. I didn't invite him, but he turned up. I think Freddie Kissoon brought him. And he spoke at the farewell. And he said, look, he had so much respect for me that every time I lock you up, he knew that he did something wrong. I wasn't like the others who trumped up charges against him. And people said that some people should take a page from my book. Benchcock said, not a page. Let them take the whole book as to how to be professional. I remember, so Mark, all the best. Then we had Marvin Wilson, the old TSU man. I can't remember his number, 09 something. Wilson had a birthday. Recently, we had a name we used to call you. I can mention it to you. But Marvin had a birthday. And then recently, too, we had Tracy Thompson Howard. She had a birthday, former officer of the force. She had a birthday. And then retired woman superintendent Denise Griffith. Denise was Commander G Division, what is Region 2 now, and she had other commands and so on. My squad mate also had a birthday not too long ago, Rennie Innes, 9521, outstanding detective back in the days, right? 9521, Rennie had a birthday. And also, we had a birthday recently of Joe Ned. She was W0855. She married older, 7916, I think it was, from the TSU. She had a birthday recently. And the last birthday that I want to announce now is retired Assistant Superintendent Eldon Gibson. He used to be a general officer, and then I think he went to F Division. He too had a birthday recently. So all those who are celebrating today, whether your names were called or not, and all those who celebrated recently, I want to wish you all the best, all the best. And then I can't go on without mentioning the cricket, The cricket, I know the cricket story is that the Amazon Warriors on a roll, 3 games, 3 victories. As I told y'all before, I am not an Amazon Warrior fan. I'm a cricket fan. I don't support the franchise, right? But I support the cricketers, and I wish them well, and I celebrate when they do well, not the franchise. And I have many reasons why I can't support the franchise. And then today, for those of you who are following, today we had Sri Lanka defeated England at the Oval. Well, the series was always wrapped. I think it was a three-test series. England won the first two. And this morning, Sri Lanka chased down the other 200 and something to win. And they did that in fantastic style with 2 wickets down. So they won by 8 wickets. So yeah, sports is in the news. Tonight, I think in CPI is a rest night. No game today. And then they resume tomorrow. So yeah, for us sports fans, that is what we have on the horizon. Let me bring you Mr. Conway, and then we are going to move on. CC, welcome, and again, belated birthday to you, man.
All right. Thanks to be in the land of the living to do God's work. And thanks to all those persons who contacted me by various means. I had a nice little quiet celebration. I told my family I didn't want anything, but they go against me. So just me, my wife, my children, and my couple of grandchildren. And I have many more birthdays to come, because I remember in 1999 when I was in the FBI doing management, and the instructor said, "Hey, I want you to write your eulogy. I want you to tell me when you lie down in the casket, what the people going to say about you, the person reading the eulogy." So I wrote my eulogy in 99. But he told us it got to be smart. It got to be specific. It got to be measurable. It got to be achievable. And it got to be task-oriented. So and I many things that I wrote in 99 came true. I remember some of the things I wrote that when I returned from the training, I was promoted to assistant commissioner and then I transferred to ENF division. But it went the other way around. As soon as I returned, they sent me to ENF division and I later got an assistant commissioner. So I have in God's grace, I have many more birthdays to come, many more decades to go. And I remember my 14-year-old granddaughter telling me, "Grandfather, I know you're going to live long to see your great-grandchildren." So here I am. And I know I have, by God's grace, many more years to come. And I thank the Lord for keeping me safe and sound so far.
But no, you can say that because you know you have been doing well. People's tears are not on you, but many of them, tears on them. So even if the good Lord should spare their lives, it's not perhaps for them to enjoy a ripe old age. It's for them to punish. Many of them have to punish. All those who swearing on the holy books, whether it's the Bible, the Gita, or the Quran, and then they go on the telling lies against people. They're swearing on holy books and telling lies. They got to punish, man. They got to punish. You can't be telling lies and you can't be doing people the things that they are doing to people and not punish. This world is a wrong. What goes around comes around. And let me say this. If not them, then the children will punish. And you know, sometimes you see people around the place and you see them punishing and sometimes you're tempted to give them a little freck, as we would say. But you don't know the background. Sometimes it's the deeds catching up with them. And many of them, they are going to be around and you're going to be surprised. So me too, Cici, I am living a healthy life, but we all know it's all in the hands of the Father. He is the man who determines when we will go to our Maker. Not them who's sitting down and scheming and planning and all sort of things. So I say, yeah, let's do good. And once we do good and we are blessed, then the Lord will make sure that we enjoy our geriatric days, because that is what the thing referred to us as geriatrics. And I am proud. I've always said, by definition, geriatric is once you reach 65. So yes, we are geriatric, but I'm a proud geriatrics. I thank the Lord for sparing me. I thank the Lord for keeping my faculties intact and all the rest. So let them go and let them say what they want to say and do what they want to do. Now, the first subject that I wanted to talk about this morning, let me give you all a background. Students, after the program on Wednesday, that's last Wednesday, I got a call from a, how do I put it? It's a radio program out of Grenada. I think the operator, the person who owns the program, Ride Along, he operates out of Brooklyn, New York. But I got a call and I was on an invitation, I must say, to appear on the program that very afternoon. I think it was from 6 o'clock. I accepted. I spoke to the moderator and he said it was about, he wanted to know about what was going on in Guyana, hear about corruption, and hear about all these things, and if I would be willing. So I went on the program. And then Rickford Burke, was also on the program. Well, the moderator asked us, usual thing, introduction. I talked about the corruption in the Guyana police force, the corruption in the government in general, and we all know that what is going on now. But I call and I explain some of these things in a little detail and so on. Burke did likewise. Then the program was open for call-ins. And the first couple of people called, they confirmed what we were saying about what is going on in Guyana. And then they let loose some of the surrogates, what we call the jagabats, the crapo. One calling, and I know the name. One calling, they tell me, say, what name, I can get the name, I can't remember the name now, but they tell me the name. He calling, and he said, well, look, basically he was telling the people, God, let me tell you, this program is, as I've said, the host is Grenadian, and he operates out of New York, but it appears that the program is a very popular program in the Caribbean, Grenada, St. Lucia, and all those other islands. Very, very popular program. So, yeah, so they got one to call in Cordell, one named Cordell calling. I understand that he's one of them who fronts for the PPP, calling, and he started by telling the people that they should not listen to Slow and Burke, because he said Slow get charged for rape and all sorts of things he carry on with, right? And I had to tell the people, as I would normally do, that is not so. He's lie. I never was charged for rape. I have charged for what they call sexual assault, where a woman alleged that I rubbed her foot during a meeting. That is what. So I explained it to people. Then the thing went on. A lot of people call and lick you up, people in making sport call and said that he lied and so on, and attacked him. So then a call came through. Well, before that, one of them called, and he making all sort of allegation. When he was asked to provide his name, he refused to provide his name, so he was cut off. And next one called and identified himself as Gavin Matthews, and again started to attack. But I know Gavin Matthews' voice, and other people on the chat, that is not Gavin Matthews, that is not Gavin Matthews. So it turned out it was an impersonator, impersonating Gavin Matthews. And then later, Gavin Matthews called to confirm that it was not him. And then they sent out what he name, what she name, what it name, what the thing name. They sent out Kwame McCoy. And Kwame McCoy came to say, and I'm, I'm sorry, I made a note of some of the things and I left it outside. Kwame McCoy came to say that, first of all, that Slow was incredible, and that Slow was, since he born, all the years, he anti-PPP and Conway and Burke, that is what Kwame, and it occurred to me that is the best they can do. Kwame McCoy talking about credibility, is that the best that the government, the PPP civic government can do? Sending Kwame McCoy to attack me? Kwame McCoy, of all persons, an alleged sex predator, a man who is convicted in the courts of Guyana, a man who was investigated for murder, Kwame McCoy, and they did my research because I say I'm going to allow Kwame. Well, let me say this, man, I enjoyed today because that was Wednesday afternoon he came out, and apparently the reception wasn't nice, right? So on Thursday, he went on NCN and them, and he made a video where he addressed some of the issues, and the usual propaganda. How this government is the greatest government since sliced bread. So all this discrimination and the fact that people punishing, all them things that ain't going on. That is what Kwame wanted to portray. But I said, but look, Kwame McCoy of all people, they're sending to attack people's character, me character in particular. And I did my research, and let me tell you, Kaicho News, September the 20th, 2009. And they say it is captioned Kwame McCoy recording soliciting sex from schoolboy. I can read. Not for y'all young, y'all let know these things. And even us older ones might have forgotten. But hear what it said. A tape recording of a conversation between a boy who identifies himself as Julius from Linden and an individual who many identified as a liaison to the president, Kwame McCoy, has implications for the rights of the Child's Commission and the integrity of the office of the president. Well, I don't believe they have ever had any integrity when that man was there. The recording, which is circulated on the internet, was aired on the website. The website is here. I'm going to post the website. So if it is still there, you can go and listen to it yourself. They're saying the Friday evening, so that is not before the 20th. And it says, and then Mark Benchcap did something, put it up. According to Benchcap, he's currently playing the recorded conversation after each hour of music on his website, Online Radio. It features a conversation that is sexual in nature and captures a moment of heartbreak over a failed sexual liaison. Oh, Julius. That's what they're talking about. Then they go on to say, when Kaicho News contacted Mr. McCoy at his home yesterday, the president's liaison refused to go on record to deny that it was one of the voices on the recording. The recording begins with the boy identifying himself and calling the name Kwame. The recipient of the call responds and queries the caller who identifies themselves once more. The conversation was initiated by the young man who identified himself as Julius. After the preliminary introduction of a query from the person identified as Kwame about the failure of the two to keep a scheduled appointment, the boy says that he has never indulged in such a sexual dalliance and that he was skeptical. He goes on to tell his story. He goes on to tell the person whom he calls McCoy that he was scared to have sex with him, given that it was the first time he would be doing something like that. The person alleged to be McCoy then breaks down into tears at what he describes as rejection, given that he was given the impression that he was being avoided. This, the person that identified himself as Julius says, was as a result of the fact that he has never done something like that. The individual could be overheard telling who it is alleged to be McCoy, "Don't cry, Kwame, don't cry. Do that for me, please, don't cry." The crying goes on for some 8 minutes of the recording, which lasted about 15 minutes. This person, identified as Kwame, then talks about taking time from work and renting a room in a hotel because he had relatives at his home when Julius was supposed to visit. He talks about money he gave to Julius and then further laments the rejection. The meeting was scheduled for Friday, and the call from Julius was made on the Thursday, as gleaned from the conversation. The individual identified as Julius is even overheard saying, quote, "What would you do to prove your love for me?" He gets an answer to the effect that he should consider all the time and money spent being behind him as being a sign of his love. In trying to seek to convince the person who identified himself as Julius that the sex should be no problem, the voice believed to be that of McCoy tells the individual that it is no different than having sex with a woman. The person that is said to be McCoy is overheard telling the youth that he was not looking for a one-night stand or searching for some sex, adding that such a case would be easy. The person said to be Julius added that he will make it up at the weekend when he would visit Georgetown to meet the person identified as Kwame McCoy. Then, quote, "You and I have talked about this thing many times," the voice identified as McCoy stated, and Julius responded, "I sorry." Quote, "Tell me something, what is? It's either we have a relationship or not. If we don't have a relationship and we are friends, that's fine with me," the voice, supposedly that of McCoy, says. The youth on the recording could also be overheard telling the other individual, I like you, I like you, I like everything about you, I adore you, it's just that I'm scared. The other voice, the question, the other voice, the question, what is it that he was scared about? Having sex? The person identified as Julius said that he was going to make up his mind. Quote, this weekend, I am going to make it up to you. The proposal was greeted with, I just like, it's just like having sex with a woman. Since the recording was first aired, people have telephoned to say that McCoy should not be a member of the Rights of the Child Commission. Some want him to resign as liaison to the president. McCoy declined to take calls from people Friday evening. According to Benchcap, McCoy telephone went unanswered when he Benchcap called. There's only one. That is a person who they sent out to try to discredit what I was saying. Kwame McCoy, who was accused, and here let me tell you already, I know they like Sue. This is an article in Kaicho News dated September the 20th, 2029. So you can go and read it there for yourself. Again, Kaicho News, it is captioned, Kwame McCoy recorded soliciting sex from schoolboy, dated September the 20th, 2029. That is one. And in the same matter, they and it's only doing the research I learned because he sued them. He sued the people who carry the thing. And then they caption it. This is Stabrook News on September the 30th, 2009. And the caption is alleged child soliciting tape. And then it says here, Chief Justice Ian Chan yesterday lifted an injunction barring 3 media houses from linking Office of the President OP Press and Public Relations Officer Kwame McCoy to a controversial audio recording of alleged sex solicitation after his lawyers failed to file a summons to continue the restriction. A full media entourage, some in support of their colleagues as well as others to cover the hearing, turned out yesterday afternoon to await the ruling of Chief Justice Chan, who heard the matter in chambers. Kaicho News publisher Glenn Lyle and editor Adam Arifs, Prime News editor Julia Johnson, and Capital News managing editor Enrico Wilford were present with attorneys, and after just 10 minutes, they emerged from chambers with smiling faces. I said 2029, sorry, it's 2009. Oh, my Lord, this thing's so sweet that I'm making all them basic mistakes. So, sorry, it's 2009 students. I know you'd have gathered that by now. We are mid-2029. I ain't that far ahead. So, my apologies. 2009. Then, to go on with the story, where they say the editors emerged from the chambers with smiling faces. McCoy filed a libel suit for damages in excess of $150 million against 3 media entities, claiming they deliberately published inaccurate information which suggests that he's involved in acts of sexual predation, procurement of child molestation. He has denied being the voice on the recording, saying it was a fabrication. Later, he secured an injunction from the court restraining the media houses from further publication of materials that suggest he is engaged in acts of child molestation. McCoy was not present at court yesterday. That is when he was not present. One of his attorneys, Says Gunraj, working in collaboration with Bibi Sadiq, who was also not present, said he had no comment, but then added that there were further pleadings to be filed and that they would be done forthwith. Attorney Fitzpeters and Rex McKay, who represented Capital News, said McCoy's attorney should have filed a summons to continue the injunction, but instead filed a summons to get a new injunction, causing the injunction to collapse. So there's nothing to continue, Peter said. And attorney at law, Manoj Naranjan and Nigel Hughes represented Lal, and it goes on. Again, I can tell you if you're going to read it yourself. The caption is alleged child soliciting tape, September the 30th, 2009. This is Stabrook News. The one I gave you before was Kaichur News, dated September the 20th, 2009, not 2029. So y'all don't go and look for 2029. That is what, and we ain't done there. We ain't done there. Let me give y'all some more before I bring in Mr. Connery. I can bring y'all in. Kwame McCoy fined for 2011 assault on bench cup. Starbrook News, March the 3rd, 2017. Make sure we get it here right. March 3rd, 2017. And here what it says. Former presidential press officer Kwame McCoy was yesterday found guilty of assaulting rights activist Mark Benchcap in March 2011. He was ordered to pay a fine of $20,000. Two other charges against McCoy for alleged damage to property and simple larceny were dismissed by City Magistrate Annette Singh. McCoy of Great Diamond, East Bank, Demerara, was given 2 weeks to pay the fine by the magistrate or would have to spend an alternative or 1 month in prison. It was the second time he was found guilty of assault. McCoy was charged with assault, stealing a laptop, and damaging a vehicle that belongs to Benchcap on March the 5th, 2011 at Diamond East Bank, Demerara. Benchcap, who is currently in North America, had testified via Skype last Friday that he was physically assaulted by McCoy, and he had credible witness who saw the accused stealing his laptop and smashing the window of his truck. McCoy was called to lead a defense to the assault charges yesterday, and he told the court that he never touched Benchcap on the day of the encounter. However, Magistrate Singh, in handing down her sentence, later told him that she believed the evidence that was presented to her by Benchcap. She, however, added that there was no evidence to find McCoy guilty of the simple larceny and the malicious damage to property charge, since the virtual complainant did admit in court that he did not see McCoy committing the act since he had run away from the scene. Additionally, prosecution witnesses were once again a no-show, and prosecutor Gillian Simmons was therefore unable to present a case against McCoy on the two charges that were eventually dismissed. McCoy, who was relieved that the matter was over, was unhappy with the guilty verdict on the assault charge. Before exiting the court compound, he told members of the media who were gathered that he was innocent of all the charges. For McCoy, this conviction is second for assault in 2012. So it's second for assault. In 2012, McCoy was found guilty of committing an assault for gun-butting a man after a row over election campaign poster. McCoy was found guilty of assault on using threatening language on Collins Church, for which he was fined $70,000. That is the McCoy, what they sent out to attack my credibility. That is the McCoy, the same Kwame McCoy, who is working in that lied one Mark Phillips' office. And let me tell you more Freedom House staff are jail for throwing feces on Freddie Kissoon. Now, I ain't saying that y'all know what feces is. I ain't saying so please forgive me. But as a teacher, you got to break it down. In other words, they show shit on Freddie Kissoon. And as I've said before, it is shit seems to have had a delayed effect. Years delay before it starts to affect Freddie. And here they say, this is December the 12th. Kaicho News again, December the 12th, 2017. Principal Magistrate Judy Latchman yesterday sentenced Freedom House operative Jason Abdullah to 6 months imprisonment for throwing feces on newspaper columnist and social activist Freddie Kissoon after, well, this is what they say now, after finding him guilty. I know me teachers say you can't after finding him, you got to be after finding. But me reading what they say, after finding him guilty of the charge. Kwame McCoy, former liaison officer to the president during the tenure of the PPP administration, and self-confessed death squad member Sean Hines, had the matter against them dismissed after the magistrate found them not guilty of committing the offense. The magistrate took a while to outline to the court all the reasons for finding Abdullah guilty. Kwame McCoy, Jason Abdullah, and Sean Hines were accused of assaulting Kissoon on Monday, May the 24th, 2020 at Georgetown. The magistrate told Abdullah that she is of the opinion that Kwame McCoy gave him directions to throw feces on Kissoon and to record the incident. Hear what the magistrate said. Let me read again. The magistrate told Abdullah that she is of the opinion that Kwame McCoy gave him directives to throw feces on Kisoon and to record the incident. She added that in Abdullah's statement to the police, he outlined that after the assault took place, McCoy gave him $100,000 for the job well done. Let me read the back. The same man who was convicted, there's a magistrate said, Abdullah's statement to the police, that is in his statement to the police, he outlined that after the assault took place, McCoy gave him $100,000 for a job well done. The magistrate stated that she found both the oral and written statement given by Abdullah were done freely and voluntarily. She stressed that in his statement he implicated himself. Magistrate Lachman told the court, I disbelieve when Abdullah said that he had no altercation with Kisoon. I disbelieve that Abdullah was given a few pieces of paper to sign without reading. And I disbelieve that Abdullah has a very poor recollection of his activities on the day of the assault. She said that the court finds that Abdullah had knowledge of the assault, which he watched, and then reported to McCoy that the crime was successful. Yeah, sit back. The magistrate told the court that Kwame McCoy and Sean Hines did not implicate themselves when they were arrested. They remained silent when they were arrested, and it was Abdullah who implicated them both. Attorney at law Glenn Hanneman, who represented Abdullah throughout the trial, told the court that common assault is one of the lowest crimes in the laws of Guyana. He added that Abdullah is a first-time offender and that at the time of the assault, he was only 29. He went on to tell the court that his client spent 6 days in custody, and in his caution statement, he appeared to play a minor role. Hanneman told the court that his client was simply following the directions of his employer, Kwame McCoy, who pays his bills. He told the court that if his client had refused to commit the offense, he would have lost his job. The magistrate, before sentencing the accused, told the court that she considered the fact that feces was thrown on the victim, and it's an incident that will forever be embedded in his mind. Well, not only embedded in him, that's pretty sweet. The magistrate, before sentencing the accused, told the court that she considered the fact that feces was thrown on the victim, and it's an incident that will forever be embedded in Kisoon's mind. She also emphasized the need to prevent persons from committing similar offenses. The matter was prosecuted by police prosecutor Sean Gonzalez. The men allegedly threw fecal matter in Kisoon's face when he emerged from Nigel's supermarket at Rob Street, Georgetown. It was reported that an individual walked up to the columnist's vehicle and threw the substance on him. After the attack, Kisoon reportedly drove behind the perpetrator, who ran north along Light Street, then into North Road, before jumping to a waiting car. Attorney Lachmi Rahamat represented McCoy. Attorney Thomas represented Sean Hines. Let me read about. Attorney Lachmi Rahamat represented McCoy. Attorney George Thomas represented Sean Hines. Last year, when Kisoon was called to testify in court, he recalled that on the day in question, he had left Nigel's supermarket on Rob Street, Georgetown, and entered his vehicle, which was parked nearby. He said that he swung down his vehicle window when a man walked up and threw a substance on him. The witness recounted that after the substance was thrown on him, a man of African descent walked away, jogged across the road, proceeded down Merriman's Mall, and entered a motor vehicle. He also went on to describe his attacker's height and body structure. Kisoon said that he discarded the shirt he was wearing at the time of the attack because he had no reason for wanting to keep a nasty piece of material. That is a Kwame who they sent for attack me. That is a Kwame who they sent for attack me. And you think I done? You think they don't know it ain't done? Kaicho News, February 18, 2016. Kwame McCoy arrested for Kwame Wing's murder. Let me read about. Kaicho News of February 18, 2016 says, Kwame McCoy arrested for Crum Ewing murder. And it says, investigators probing the murder of social activist Courtney Crum Ewing have arrested former press officer of the Office of the President on the PPP government, Kwame McCoy. McCoy was arrested yesterday after he turned himself into police at the Criminal Investigation Department, Ivlery. This was after police has visited his diamond housing scheme, East Bank Demerara resident, to arrest him. McCoy is now the fourth person to be arrested for the week after investigators reopened the probe into the March 10, 2015 murder of Crum Ewing. Earlier this week, police had also arrested former officer of the president's staffer, Jason Abdullah, self-confessed hitman Sham Hines, and Okini Fraser. A reliable source close to the investigation said that detectives are obtaining vital information from the persons in custody. This newspaper understands that McCoy has been fingered by one of those persons. The source could not say if anyone else is on the police radar for the Crum Ewing shooting. Kaito News was told that the suspects are being held at different police locations and that the authorities may be approaching the court to have them extended in custody since the stipulated time of detention is fast running out. Police have already charged Regan Rodriguez, Carl Grayboy, for the murder, but investigators were always convinced that others were involved in the hit. One of the men in custody, Sean Hines, had in some explosive television interview fingered McCoy and Abdullah as being involved in the murder, right? Then it goes on to say, however, under subsequent questioning by police, Hines remained mum until he was released after being in custody for 72 hours. Crum Ewing was gunned down on March 10, 2015, while using a loudspeaker in the Diamond community, urging persons to vote out the PPP party. His murder, which is always seen as politically motivated, outraged many Guyanese who put pressure on the police to leave no stone unturned to find and prosecute the killers. Kwame McCoy, that's the Kwame McCoy they sent for abuse me out. That is it, Kwame McCoy. Then you get an next one, not done. Tell him to do research. Let them come, man. Let them come. I can bring the information, the credible, valuable information to you. And it's not me. I reporting from what was there. I doing the research and bring it to you. This is Kwame McCoy, Abdul, and Hines charged with throwing feces. The same thing. They were released on $100,000 bail. I'm not going to go through this in any great detail, but tell you this is Stabrook News of February the 23rd, March Day, 2016. Talking about Kwame McCoy arrest in this matter. Kwame McCoy arrest in connection with a murder. Kwame McCoy convicted twice for assault. Kwame McCoy, and let me go back to this part with the magistrate convicting Abdullah. Based on what the magistrate is saying, Abdullah, who is alleged to have thrown the shit on Keferi Kisun, he gave a statement admitting that he was involved, admitting that Kwame was involved. That is a statement he gave to the police, which the magistrate said she found to be true. But the law, then they changed the law now. They are jointly charged, and the evidence of a co-accused is not evidence against the others. It's evidence against him. So when Abdullah gave the evidence and called Kwame McCoy and called Shanains, you couldn't implicate them because in that. He only implicated himself, and that is basically what the magistrate said, because they were co-accused. They were joined together to commit this offense. And the fact that Abdullah gave a statement to the police saying that, yeah, we were involved, that is not a statement against the others, it's a statement against him. And it's on that basis that they were free. It was on that basis. But they have since changed the law. Nandalal changed the law since then. So we got to understand that is what I bring. Let me tell you something. I bought several cars. My first car was a Maurice Marina, that was old-time English car. And then after that, Toyota. I have never had a Volkswagen. And the reason why, because the engine at the back. I have never had a Volkswagen. I have never had one of those. So they're bringing out, for some reason, there's a lot of that model car coming to attack Slow and Conway. That model. Wonder why? Volkswagens with the engine at the back, them come to attack. But I come in with facts. This thing was bringing you The fact, stubborn things. It is there for anybody to go and research. It is there. Yeah, I'm a Toyota man. I like Toyota. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who's a mechanic. Tell me, hey, I must not drive anything else. Toyota. All he said when you get a Toyota, you just change the oil, change the filter, and you drive. But they bring in Volkswagen, the engine in the back, you have to lift up the thing at the back. And I'm telling them again, all they do is to try to get me on my knees. Anytime I go down on my knees, is to pray for them. Anytime you see me on my knees, is to pray for them. When they go down on the knee, you never pray. It's because them is Volkswagen. They have to expose the engine where they're the back. Let me say that. Whenever you see enough of them on their knees, it's not to pray. It's for them to expose their back, the engine, which is at the rear. That is what is going on. They're coming for me. Are you come? Are y'all threatening to kill me? Y'all come, man. I'm not afraid to die. Y'all come. I'll take a lot about him. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. And then I know the man anxious. I can see the man of the non-striker. And every time I hit the ball, the man anticipating I run a single if he get a little strike. And then I tell him, no. See, let me bring him, man. Let me bring you cricket in the air. See, my brother, you would have heard what I said there about the sellout call. The best that the PPP could have done last week, Wednesday and Thursday, was to send out Kwame McCoy, someone who has absolutely no credibility, just like he bars them for tax law and for mention Conway and so on. What is your take on this, Martin, my brother?
Paul, you don't lie, and we also don't lie. I listened to the tape, and I heard Kwame McCoy, whether I know it's either he or she mentioned that Conway and Slow have been anti-PPP all the days of their lives. Let me be pellucid. I am apolitical. I do not belong to any political party. I was never a member of any political party. For the matter, since 1973, when I became eligible for vote, I have not, and I'm proud, I have not voted at any national or regional elections. I believe in good governance, and I believe that when you're in power, you must be a government for all. It mustn't be a PPP government or an APNU government. You must be a government for Guyana and deal with for all Guyanese. Well, he said I'm anti-PPP. And let me make it clear. When I was promoted to deputy superintendent, the PPP was in power. When I made superintendent, the PPP was in power. When I made senior superintendent, the PPP was in power. When I made assistant commissioner, the PPP was in power. And the PPP had total control over the police service commission, then that body that was responsible for my promotion, the PPP. So if I was anti-PPP, perhaps they miss out on some things because I get promoted. And even to that, well, after I retired from the force, the same PPP government employed me for 4 years to deal specifically with training recruitment and training for the whole Ghana police force. I repeat, the same PPP government employed me for 4 years to deal with recruitment and training for the Ghana police force. And Kwame saying I was anti-PPP. Maybe they must miss out. Maybe they didn't pick it up. But I was never anti-PPP. I was never anti-APNU. I spoke against APNU. I spoke up against PPP because I believe in good governance. So the nonsense what Kwame saying, it can't hold water. And I know that Kwame is a stranger to the truth, We talk the truth. And we dare any one of them, to quote one instance where we lie. Well, let me leave it at that.
Man, I thought you'd about little longer. When you I raise the opportunity for come back. Yeah, because I listened to the thing where you said that you and I were anti-PPP. The man said for the day, man, all the years, I is anti-PPP. Kwame McCoy, the Volkswagenist, says that. And again, as you said, CC, they get shallow memory. Shallow memory. Like you, I got a lot of promotions under PPP. I got National Award, DSM, 1998. Janet Jackson was president. The country recognized me. And why? Because I was considered as one of the most professional police officer in the Guyana Police Force. That is following my role as the officer in charge of TSU in 1992, 5th of October, when there was unrest in the streets of Georgetown, followed the general and regional elections, and Paul Slow went out there with the other ranks and brought order within record time back to the streets of Georgetown. One of the biggest compliments, the greatest compliment paid to me that very night on the 5th of October, 1992. I was with some ranks, so we call the unit, the right unit, in Regent Street. We were proceeding east on Regent Street, approaching Camp Street, right? Helicopters were being flown overhead and all of that. And a vehicle came from Camp Street, came north from Camp Street, and the person asked to see the police commander. And the person turned out to be the chief of staff, Joe Singh, the same Joe Singh. And I went up to him. I knew him very well, Rifle Association otherwise. And he said, Paul, you're the commander? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I don't need to worry. I can go back inside because once you're here, I have confidence that the correct thing will be done. That is the level of confidence. That is the level of professionalism I showed. And then again in 1997, at disturbance, Slow did what he had to do, what he swore to do, protect and serve. I wasn't looking to see who was in government and who wasn't in government because you recall on the 5th of October, it was Desmond Knight who was president. Desmond Knight, PNC were in office, and I had to, as OCTSU, had to go and do my duty, that which I swore to do, and I did it in a professional manner. Me not kill nobody like they did in Linden. Restore order to the town in a short space of time. I remember the same year I went to shoot with the national team, same October rather, same month in Jamaica. And I was, as they say, big up, everybody bigging me up, want to know how you were able to restore order so quickly and all that. Say, professionalism was it. So when Kwame come and talk all of this crap now, but since I born, what? He Durham Lalin since he born, if you want to put it away. If I am a anti-PPP since I born, he has been Durham Lalin since he born too. And then when he got on the knee, he ain't going on to pray like me. He's going to expose the engine that is located at the back. Right? So, yeah, come. He's a countryman. I know story, you know. We got good memory. We got good memory. And we can research and I can find all of these things. So, Kwame McCoy. And as a result of my outstanding performance, as I said, ask any businessman in Georgetown around that time, 1992, on them time. They will tell you of my role in the city. They will tell you. So much so that the same people them that he's saying that I support now were totally against me because they felt I should not have acted in the manner I act, but I acted professionally. The same PPP when they came to power with Gail Teixeira and all of them were I in praise for Paul Slow. Ask Roy, been wrong long enough. Ask Gail Teixeira if the nicotine and damage your brain yet. Ask Jack Dio and them might to know if Ali and them because they don't read. Nandalal and all them newcomers. Ask about the role of Paul Slow. And so for Kwame McCoy now to come to talk crap, ask. Well, even Swamines, you can't ask. Because Swamines, in case you all know why he behaved that way, Swamines was sworn in as Prime Minister in 1992 in Jagan Yard, the yard at New Haven. Let me repeat that. When Swamines was sworn in, he was sworn in the yard. The swearing in the yard. I was at TSU at the time, and I had to carry people there for them to clean the yard, all them forward shit up all the place and so on, get prison and so on for clean the place. So, Kwame, and you know, that is the best they could have done. They send the one Cordell, who is a surrogate. They give him a little contract EUA, and he come to talk a lot of crap, right? And then they send the one who come to impersonate Gavin Matthews. It was a big laugh. You always look at the program, show there's somewhere on social media. The man came to say he is Gavin Matthews, right? Everybody said, no, that's not Gavin Matthews. Everybody know Gavin Matthews' voice because Gavin Matthews used to have a talk show. And then later on, Gavin Matthews came out to say, I am Gavin Matthews. That person was an impersonator. That is the level That is the level. Kwame can attack anybody. Of course, I should correct that. He attacked bench cap. He attack and he assault people. But they said monkey know which limb for jump on. Monkey know. Remember he did go, I can't remember where, Sapphire and somewhere there, and make himself stupid and somebody put a brick in his mouth. He went there somewhere. You must remember these things. So I must remember these things. You gotta bigging up yourself. And guess you know who saved him? You know who saved him? David Granger saved him. Somebody put one brick in him out. Put up your thing there. Foley up. In the hospital. He mouth big and he got, and imagine he mouth swell up. So you could imagine naturally it big. And then it swell up further. I guess he could not have engaged in certain acts during that period. Right? Couldn't engage in certain acts during those periods. He couldn't eat the banana during that period. Kwame Mackay, a blasted convict, a convict they sent in to attack me, right? A man assault bench cap, he assault somebody else, he assault a man named Stuart. I think he's on this program now. Andre might be on the program right now, right? But monkey know his limb for jump on. Because as old as I am, Kwame and slapping me and getting away with it. Then we understand this thing clearly. As old as I am, Kwame Mackay and slapping me and getting away with it. Folks, I'm going to come back because you know the state. Now that he has been, well, oh God, they're going to sue me if we say he. Now that he, she, it, let me cover my grounds. Now that he, she, it, the thing, the Volkswagen, whatever the address himself is, has been exposed, I guess they can come now and come back. Because they get NCN, they get Chronicle or Chronticle, they get all them things at their disposal, you know. So there's come attacking. But we are bringing facts. For example, when I tell you that Sarmines was sworn in Jagan Yard at New Haven, you can go and check. I get the date, we can research the date. I was there. Sworn in the yard. So when I read all of these articles from Stabrook News and Kaicho News, you can go and check yourself. You can go and check yourself. Right? So I'm making these things up. But if I were in Kwame's position, when they tell me to come, I would have played sick or something like that. Because you ought to have known that if you attack Slogan reveal the facts. He attacked Rick Fordberg too, and Rick Fordberg come back. So very thirsty. Last week Thursday when he come out with this stupid thing, Borg come out right away and put lash in him. I am taking left. Once you come and you bring the nonsense, imagine them attacking me, 37 years in the Guyana Police Force, distinguished career. No allegation of corruption. None. Right? And again, I'm going to find my farewell speech to bring it to y'all because since then I alluded to the fact that I saw certain things emerging in the force, which I said would be inimical to the interests of the country and the organization. And my words, and you get the crystal ball since then, the words have come to pass. My words have come to pass. Let me ask Mr. Calvin if you want to say anything else on this matter, and then I'm going to move on. See anything else you want to say on this?
Yeah, just to get back, let's not forget, in 1992, who was the office in charge of the quarantine, the PPP stronghold, before, during, and shortly after election? It was Clinton Andrew Conway, then Assistant Superintendent of Police. It was me who been put in quarantine in the people stronghold, and I was anti-PPP all the days of my life. And I performed with professionalism. I was a person who was running things as a police officer in the quarantine before, during, and sometime after election. And yet still, that thing saying that I am anti-PPP. I left it at that.
Yeah. We go watch out with you gonna come when what said E. Please don't sue me. When it gonna come again. Let me use a neutral tone. When it gonna come again, and we can able to deal with it. But let me move on. I saw on August the 31st, there's a Kaichor News article which I will read to you. Kaichor News article. Yes, somebody tell me the brick was at St. Sidwell Primary School in 2011. No, not 2000. I think it's 2011, man. Check back. That breaking him out, I think, was 2015. I think it's 2015. I could be wrong, but I think it could be wrong. Right? Let me move on. Kaicho news of August the 31st, 2024. The things that make you go, whoa. They say no extradition from Guyana in 2024. That is what Overface Ministry says. No extradition from Guyana in 2024. And I read the article, and a part of it amused me. And I got to read the thing, and I can tell you all what it says. It's not a long article. It says fugitives opted to return to the U.S. So there was no extradition for this year. The fugitives who were caught in Guyana opted to return to the U.S. The Ministry of Home Affairs on Friday debunked claims that Guyana has extradited persons to the United States of America this year. In a statement issued by the ministry's Facebook page, which is on the ministry's Facebook page, the ministry said, quote, there have been no extraditions from Guyana to the United States of America in 2024 to date. The term extradition was incorrectly used during the news source broadcast on August the 27th, 2024, end of quote. The statement said that 3 fugitives who had outstanding warrants were arrested by the Guyana police force. The trio, all citizens of the U.S., opted to return to the U.S. rather than face deportation from Guyana. The 3 persons have been identified as Quincy Hines, Rakim Antonio Gilaus, and Ravindra Dharamjit. Hines departed Guyana on May 11, 2024. He was charged in 2019 in the Eastern District of New York with conspiracy to import cocaine and conspiracy to possess cocaine with intent to distribute. After making an initial court appearance, he fled to Guyana upon posting bail. Gilaus departed Guyana on July the 31st, 2024. Gilaus is wanted in Prince George's County, Maryland, for a homicide of 2 attempted murders. On July 4, 2024, during a block party attended by approximately 200 people, a dispute led to an exchange of gunfire, resulting in the death of a 6-year-old child and injuries to an adult, male and female. He was identified as the shooter and fled from New York to Georgetown to evade prosecution. Meanwhile, Dharamjit, who departed Guyana on the 13th of August 2024, is wanted in Queens, New York for manslaughter in the 2nd degree, criminally negligent homicide, and flight to avoid prosecution or giving testimony. The offenses were committed in 2009. The Ministry of Home Affairs explained that the extradition involves a formal request from the government of one country to the government of another of Guyana. No extradition request was received from the United States for any of the 3 individuals. The ministry said it remains committed to transparency and accuracy in all matters of public interest. Let me read back the last paragraph. The ministry said it remains committed to transparency and accuracy in all matters of public interest. Now I find this amusing, as I said before, because here you have people, 3 of them, committed crimes in the U.S., fled to what they believe is safe haven, Guyana, and when they're arrested in Guyana, they're claiming that these men opted to return. They voluntarily said, let me go back. I found this thing so amusing and amazing, right? Men who were running from the law in the U.S. The one man, Dharamjit, caught at a horse racing, I think it's Rising Sunday, and by the next day, he opted to return to the United States. And then they talk about transparency and accuracy. Ministry of Home Affairs, transparency and accuracy. I'm going to address that a little later. But let me bring you Mr. Conway for sharing this laugh about these men opted to return. They were not extradited. They opted to return to the U.S. to face the day in court. Cici, what are your views on this humorous statement, man?
Total fabrication, Men fled from the United States of America. I think one man come here and get married, get involved in business and all kind of thing. And when the police hold he opted to go back to the States. I don't want to believe it. I think they want to live sweet with the United States, So they just send back the people that they wanted. Because extradition is a big long drawn process. I remember Dr. Ram matters went on for a long time and another thing there. But First, I did query what process they had gone through for these men to, within a, in, with breakneck speed, those men returned to the United States. I wanted to know why. How come? They had did they engage any judge in chambers? And something, I think one was a holiday on a Sunday, and Monday morning the man in the States, total nonsense, total nonsense. Nobody even upped. When you come back coming again in the land, you come to get paradise in Guyana, and then you're telling me that I opted to go back to the States free and voluntary? No way. That can't work. That's sheer pure bullshit.
Share bullshit, he says. Share bullshit, he says. No, you know, yeah, and somebody says, one of the students referred to as Guyana Chronicle, shouldn't be Guyana Chronicle, should be Guyana Crying Crew. You know, y'all are really, really amusing and brilliant students. Man says should not be referred to as Guyana Chronicle. It's Guyana Crying Crew. Well, for those of you who know it's a carrion crow is a vulture. Is a vulture. We carry in Ghana, we say carrying crow. Countryman, we say carrying crow. But the people will tell you it's a vulture. It feeds on dead meat and flesh and all this type of thing. We say carrying crow, right? So I say shouldn't be referred to us as chronicle. You should be referred to us carrying crow because they feed on dead flesh and so on. And one of the, I think it's a social media outlet that is just like the Guyana Chronicle. It's called Guyana Daily News. I understand there's a linkage there. They had an article over the weekend referring to this lawsuit that the Honorable Cathy Hughes filed against the dishonorable Bharat Jagdeo. When, you know, he sit down at a press conference and call she a low life. Now I read the article and it's just something wrong. You know, I tell you all about the skills you get, statement analysis and so on. When I read the article in Guyana Daily News, I said, nah, something wrong. There were too many missing links. Something wrong, as the Chinese would say, something wrong. And yesterday, I saw a post from the Honorable Nigel Hughes, and I read that, and I read it to you now. They say, and he being sarcastic, let me tell you all first. And the old guys from TSU will know you had a man who used to mix up your own words. You would not say he was sarcastic. You said he was recastic. That was a word. You won't find it in the dictionary. But the older police here will remember, people like Young and them, I can remember the screaming skull. The screaming skull will say he is being recastic. So Nigel is being sarcastic. So let me read this first paragraph. In its commitment to accuracy, honesty, and unbiased journalism, the Guyana Chronicle or the Guyana Chronicle, the nation's newspaper, sought to report faithfully as usual on the conduct of the trial of Catherine Hughes versus Bharat Jagdeo. I didn't read the Chronicle thing. Let me say that first, but I read what Guyana Daily News said. He goes on to say it completely slipped the attention of the journalist who was not in the courtroom at any stage that defendant Bharat Jagdeo had failed to file any witness statement in the matter, and as a consequence, he could not be testifying in the trial. The absent Chronicle journalist also failed to mention that the sole witness for the defendant, Robin Singh, did not attend court and was allegedly at some airport awaiting to testify. Since the only person present in court were the judge, the court staff, and attorneys for Mrs. Hughes and Mr. Dattadin for the defendant, and that there was no recording facilities in the court, we would like to applaud the good work of the Chronicle's journalists on reporting on the day's events in the court. There was once a famous calypso by Lord Nelson who referred to a tailor in a line competition who could sew a suit by observing only the corner where the person passed. There is also a senior Jamaican consul of considerable repute when cross-examining a prime minister said that he was pathologically mendacious. We seem to have competent skills in our republic's national newspaper. Then he said, better must come. So these people who are not in court, these people who are writing for the carrying crew, they were not in court according to Mr. Hughes. And I will believe what he says as against what he says. They were not in court. And so therefore, they proceeded to write a misrepresentation of what took place in court. A misrepresentation of what took place. And as Mr. Hughes points out, they've been there. And as he pointed out, Jack Dio, who is the defendant, failed to file a witness statement, so he ain't testified in his own cause. He ain't give no statement. He failed. And this is not the first time. Remember when he sued Freddie Kissoon? Then Freddie Kissoon said that he involved in institutionalized racism. He sued Freddie Kissoon. And when time come for trial, he sent Raja Lunchan to give evidence. And when Raja Lunchan got back up, he actually admitted to some of the allegations were made. So he ain't filed no statement, so he ain't going no place, did not attend. And then they said the one person, the one is sole witness, Robin Singh, did not attend court, and he was allegedly at some airport waiting to testify. And then at the end, when he talked about the Lord Nelson, King Liar, Teacher Percy say, if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Them going there before. They are going there before. And he talk about the tailor. Don't show me the corner. My tailor is class. Just show me the corner where the fella passed. And he will make a suit. That is tailor. You lie? King Liar. And then he talk about the Jamaican Council of Considerable Repute. Right? KD Knights. I know the story well. KD Knights tell the Prime Minister, you're pathologically mendacious. Pack your things and go. I mean, Mr. Hughes mentioned the part, but there's the other part of the sentence. You are pathologically mendacious. Pack your things and go. Pack your things and go. This, if you think is ordinary, they're ordinary. They're using the state resources in a propagandistic fashion. So here again, they were not in court. No reporter from the Guyana Chronicle or the Guyana Chronicle or the Guyana Daily News, none of them been in court. But they then sought to write an article as to what transpired. As I said, by the time I read this thing, how the thing read alone, I said something wrong. Something is wrong. So thank you, Mr. Hughes, and that is what we have to do. When they come with these false statements, we have to bring it to the attention of you, the students, and you, the audience. So, and you are sensible, you're educated, intelligent people, right? You're not intellectually challenged. So you ought to be able to pick sense out of nonsense. And at one mention, I remember that so long ago, a man referred to a man as being the product of what the word he used, of a traumatized sperm. A man writing sometime last week or before the last in the newspaper referred to a certain person whose father was accused of murder and who, according to the letter the person wrote, who was born shortly after, well, sometime when his father was released, because I think his father got off. And the man right to say, this is a product of a traumatized sperm. Let me hear Mr. Conway to talk about this King Lion story. See?
Yeah, I read the statement and I said something is wrong, we were trained to do statement analysis. And then again, maybe somebody who was present in court and is not Nigel Hughes, it had to be somebody who was present in court, give them misleading information, and they run with it. But there's their modus. That is how they operate. Perhaps they just stay in office and imagine things and just put it on in writing.
Yeah, the same officer. Well, in this case, I believe somebody talked to them. I don't think when Mr. Hughes is naive, it would not have been the defendant. Well, not the defendant, sorry, the claimant, Catherine Hughes. I don't think it would have been the judge. And as I said, this matter, no, Mr. Hughes mentioned the people who were in court. He mentioned the people who were in court at the time, right? And the court staff, he said, was there as well. So we don't know who tell the Chronicle or the Carrying Crew what transpired. Yeah, Mark, that is what the thing, the product of a traumatized sperm. That is what the man wrote in an article or in a letter, or in a Facebook post about 2 weeks ago. Referred to someone as a product of a traumatized sperm, because he explained that his daddy been to jail where he was remanded for murder, and eventually I think so Lionel Laku got him off, and the man said that after he got off, he became a father, and therefore the offspring must have been the product of a traumatized sperm. I don't know, man, that is beyond, that is way beyond me and so on. Now let me come back to this matter that we're not gonna let up on. And this is a Calvin Brutus matter. Today is what? Today it's supposed to be like about 61 days since they said, I think it was the 11th of July. They say he proceeded to leave on the 11th of July. Today is like about 61 days since this investigation is just started. And until now, this remember I read earlier in the release about the no extradition that the Ministry of Home Affairs, right there, the Ministry of Home Affairs made the statement. What's today? The ministry said that it remains committed to transparency and accuracy in all matters of public interest. Now I'm saying that this matter involving Calvin Brutus, attorney at law and assistant commissioner of police, who they say decided to go on leave to facilitate an investigation into money laundering and financial impropriety, is a matter of public interest. And the ministry is silent. This same ministry who proclaims to be committed to transparency and accuracy, they ain't saying nothing. 61 days since he gone on leave. Up to now, these people who are committed to transparency and accuracy cannot tell the public if an allegation was put to Brutus. They cannot tell the public if he was arrested and questioned in relation, or even or if they attempted to question. They can't tell you that. This is a transparent organization we're talking about. These are the people who are talking about transparency. And let me tell you this. Again, what is the position with the investigation? We know that in the investigation, at least I know, you don't have to give the details. Is the investigation continuing? I saw they put out one of the propagandists last week who wrote to say that basically that Soku getting a rough time finding evidence. That is nonsense. Or as Nylan would say, nonsenseness. Because there's a preponderance, to use the ambassador's word, a preponderance of evidence of corruption and criminal activity. Preponderance. Because they're talking, and I hear, and I had anticipated I should have mentioned this to you all before. Because the thing what sparked this whole story is that Brutus deposited $16.5 million into the police credit union. He says that the source of that money was gifts before, during, and after his wedding. I think the wedding took place sometime last year. That's what he said. People, we see the cargage gift. I understand the board whispered, and I had anticipated this, that an attempt now was made, or is being made, or was successfully made, to get businessmen. Listen to this carefully. They're trying to get businessmen to give statements to say that they give him money, the total of which will come up to the same 16.5. So a businessman will say, well, I give $1 million as a gift, I give you 500,000 as a gift, I give 200,000. So they will now argue, or in the report, they're going to say, well, these people confirm that they gave him gifts totaling maybe 20 million or whatever, and he chose to deposit 16.5. That is, I understand, is part of the game plan, which is not surprising to me. Which is not surprising. That is what they are. Yes, Evelyn, big leaf. But outside of that, that is not all. That is not a. That might have sparked the investigation, but the thing has gone past that. This investigation, and that is why we say Soku is not capable of conducting this investigation. Not capable. Because not only the $16.5 million was deposited, what happened to the big fraud at the quartermaster store? What happened to all those at the police finance who would have approved vouchers and all of these things? What happened to the PS Ministry of Home Affairs? And then if you look at the thing this morning, there's an article in Stabrook News. We can go into it on Wednesday by former Auditor General Anil Gulsaran, who questions the activity of the tender board in this whole process. We can go into it in more detail on the next program. And rightly so, because as we said, there is evidence that Brutus, the man in charge of administration of the Ghana Police Force, who overlooks or who oversees the finance, the quartermaster store, the construction, all them, the E-position. In other words, you can't pay any money unless he approves of it at the police level. He get company, Kitus company, registered sometime in June last year. His wife has companies, at least two, that I see documents about. Well, I see documented one, and now they reported not so long ago of this other one, and they're supplying items to the police. So you have the man who in charge of the stores, who in charge of the finance, and who got to approve these things, approving things for your wife. And you want to tell me there's not conflict? There's perhaps even more than conflict. There's criminal behavior. He approved. So this thing what they're trying to hoodwink we about the 16.5 deposited in the police, which was in fact deposited. The thing gone past now. It's gone past. This investigation should have gone past that. I don't know if it is. Because Aaron Gulsaran also said, and I agree with him, that this is not a SOKU thing alone. He went to the Auditor General office and all of these places. And we have been saying a long time, the Auditor General should have been involved, because when you see advances, cash advances being approved by Brutus for his driver and his secretary to go in the interior to do investigation. One was on Christmas Eve Day, 2020. Something is wrong, and the Auditor General office should have jumped on this. So, because here, let me tell you this. When you examine those advances, and they're clear, if they were cleared, is a lot of bogus receipts. They never went any place. They never went any place. The driver, George, and the secretary, Louis, they ain't got no place. Brutus approved the advance for them. They collect the money, $200,000 at each pop. So it's not 200, it's $200,000 every time an advance is made. And it is alleged that the people of the finance office were instructed that whenever you see my signature on anything, do not query it. That is the allegation. So all of these things have to be investigated. And I say again, as Gulsaran said, that SOKU is a unit of the Ghana Police Force, and we hear the expended quarter is reported over the weekend, and we can deal with it to say that SOKU is an independent unit. The Volkswagen said that. And how can SOKU be independent when the members are from the force? They are sent there by the administration of the force, and they are removed by the administration of the force. How can they be independent? SOKU is a unit in the Ghana Police Force, like any other unit. The TSU, the transport, the finance, any other unit. And so they come with this nonsense about SOKU being an independent unit. This investigation is wide, because now, as Mr. Gulsaran is saying, the National Procurement Tender Board Administration should be involved. He asked the question, what type of due diligence they did when they approved the company owned by the wife of Brutus. That is what is being alleged here. To supply things to the police, to supply stuff. What did you do? And you know, I read the thing. The paper said, yeah, I was reading then today, Stabrook News. The paper said that when they reached out to Taram Chan Balgobin, I think is the man in charge of the tender board, he said, you're abroad. You can't answer you're abroad. You refer them to somebody else. That reminds me when Nigel Appy was sitting there in the commissioner's chair, and they were coming after me. I call him or text him. I said, Nigel, if the police, am I wanted by the police for any questioning? If I am wanted by the police, just let me know and I will make myself available. He tell me out of the country. So I want to know what out of the country got to do with it. He's out of the country. That is what I was told by that, let me say, gentleman. I'm using the term very loosely here. So this issue about Brutus is not only about the $16.5 million more. And here, before I bring in Mr. Conway, I hearing a board whispering to me, let's get the board, this crystal ball. That email, the allegation is that sometime not so long ago, he moved to the High Court to get the matter, the investigation discontinued. Is it true, Mr. Ben, seeing that you all are so transparent and you're looking for transparency and accuracy? I want to know, maybe now that I've said it, the public want to know, is it true that Calvin Brutus, attorney at law, and Assistant Commissioner of Police, recently moved to the High Court to have this investigation discontinued? There is public interest matters. You talk here, let me read back what I say. The ministry said it remains committed to transparency and accuracy in all matters of public interest. There's no other matter of greater public interest right now apart from the cocaine. And therefore, people want to know, is it true that he has moved to the court? And before, maybe the media people are going to ask that question. And before I bring in Mr. Conway, I have said, and let me repeat it here as part of the education to them, that Brutus, first of all, should not have, he didn't request to go on leave. He should not have been sent on no vacation leave. He should have been sent on administrative leave. And I told them, all they got to do is ask the Attorney General, because in the case of Moti Duki versus David Ramnarayan, the Attorney General, Nandalal representing Duki. Duki was a deputy superintendent who was allegedly caught with a large quantity of whiskey, which was suspected to have been smuggled from Suriname, and he was sent on administrative leave by the acting, or the person who was carrying out the functions of the commissioner, Ramnarayan. He moved to court. Nandala represented him. Matter came up before Justice Corbin, and Justice Corbin said that only the Police Service Commission can send an officer on administrative leave. At that time, there was no Police Service Commission, and the force administration sought to use a section of the public service rules. Just said, no, that can't work. Can't use that. Only the commission. Since there was no commission, he could not have been sent on administrative leave, and therefore he returned to work. There's a commission now. There's a commission, and therefore move should have been made to send Brutus on administrative leave while this investigation is going on. I don't know if that has been done. So I'm telling you, the precedent is there. Free advice. The precedent is there. All you have to do, pull up the file or go to Nandalal and find out from him how the thing does work. And maybe he'll advise you what you have to do to send Brutus on administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation. And they're in Soxan. Because if we are to believe now that, and again, it's not confirmed, but if it is, that people are now saying that they gave this man this money as gifts over a period of time before, during, and after the wedding, and this money was deposited into the account. How come the extended squatter said no money was deposited? No investigation is going on. I tell you, let them talk, and the more they talk, because they are so stupid, it's like sand, quicksand. They let it wriggle. They're going down more and more. And finally, I said finally before bringing Mr. Conway, it is alleged that Brutus has thrown out the gauntlet, and he has said to them, I ain't going down alone. If I go down, you are coming with me. You are coming with me. So therefore, people treading very carefully in this matter. Imagine 60-something days, and they can't give any statement as to what is going on. 60-something days. 60-something days. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Can't Mr. Conway, sir, this Brutus matter. It can go and be, the investigation seems not to be going any place, and we are not going to allow it to come off the public radar. Your views?
Well, they try to say that they're drawing blanks. That they're drawing blanks. But we know far better. And we said over and over again, Suku does not have the technical nor professional competence to deal with this matter. and the matter is widespread. We also said that the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ministry of Home Affairs, and the Ministry of Finance have to be aware with what's going on. You hear Gold Vulture saying certain things into this paper, that this thing is widespread. This thing is not only the 16.5. You mentioned about a secretary, a driver going to Port Kaichuma, going to Kaikan, going to Orange Police Station to conduct investigations. We saw the advance form. We saw who approved it. We saw who signed for it. Those are simple, straightforward matters. You ain't got to go no deep investigation. And I had hinted some time ago, I used to be dealing with a man 7464 Smith. That means sometimes you catch them on and give him a hold in charge while you're dealing with the other issues, because what's going on now, there several charges I see could be instituted, or several offenses alleged to have been committed. So don't let it drag on, catch the man and give you all in charge. And you have enough evidence in many matters there. And I'm saying the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ministry of Finance, Balgobin Halen, that he oversees. What are going to do the matter? What are the thing is widespread. What go on went on at the quartermaster store? What go on at the Ministry of the Finance Office? What happened with the mess, the police mess? At the TSU mess, the FSCP, the field service calling mess, the breakdown mess, the SC mess. What happened to the suppliers? And don't forget the hard working ranks in the Interior Region 1, Region 7, Region 8, Region 9. Those men who supposed to collect their subsistence allowances, they're making them put in bogus thing and say they're paying it to the police welfare fund when it is not so. That they're depriving those hardworking police from getting what they really deserve. Huh? And you're not investigating that. And then the gun runnings, the 1.5, and understand the stakes gone higher now, they're doing less thing, but the stakes gone higher, because the information I got now is people saying, hey, everybody can and slow talking, but this thing. So if you want to, you got to come up higher. The stakes got to be high, as the case may be. So the whole thing is a wide-ranging investigation. Not only the police credit union is wide-ranging. It's going to shake the very foundation of the Ghana police force. And if you got to shake it, shake it. They got to be bloodletting. And if they got to be bloodletting, let it be. The investigation must continue, but not with Suku. Suku doesn't have the capability. And Suku is compromised also. And maybe Brutus is right if he said that he ain't getting alone, that others involved. And not only involved not in the police force. The Ministry of Affairs might be involved. The Ministry of Finance might be involved. No checks and balances. Nobody checking and say, hey, what's going on here? This thing and look right, and asking questions. So we're saying a proper, a detailed, and in-depth investigation by somebody, so a group of us or people outside of Suku. Suku must stand on it and know what they get, and let other people investigate. Brilliant foreigners come in and do the investigation, and then they're saying Suku drawing blanks. It is designed that way. It is designed that way for Suku to draw blanks.
The design like school sports, you're starting out with blanks. You get a big song and nothing, you only want the song to start the race. I agree with you fully, my brother. Now, on the same matter, if you get these gifts from all of these businessmen, good friend businessmen give you 16.5 or more, because I think if they give you these gifts, you're going to deposit all in the credit union. What about the Integrity Commission? Were these gifts, large gifts, declared to the Integrity Commission? I think the year ends June or July, something like that. Were these gifts declared? You see, I tell you, the more they wriggle, that is why this thing wants a proper investigation. Earlier this year, I had to run to Guyana to go to the Integrity Commission because they published my name in the official gazette that I did not file for 52 days or 53 days in 2021. I really thought the thing was calendar year, so I filed every year. I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission. I filed as I was required to do. But I thought since the life of the commission ended on the 8th of August 2021, I hadn't to fight for that year. But then the people put my name in the newspaper and on the official gazette to say that between, I think it was 4th of July or 4th of June, I'm not sure, either June or July, up to the 8th of August when I was chairman of the Police Service Commission, I was required to make my declaration with the Integrity Commission, and they had given us up to April someday. And I went there and I did that. I filed, submitted all the documents and so on that they wanted. Your transport, your registration for your vehicle, your bank account information, all of these things I wanted and I supply. Did Brutus supply this information? You see, that is what we're saying. That an investigation like this got to come from all angles. All. They said the wife, get business. What about the tax returns? Have they been filing tax about all these hundreds of millions of dollars that they are getting? If they get employees, are they paying NIS? It's a whole set of things. It's a whole set of questions got to be asked. And the last question I want to ask, and this we almost run out of time already, is I want to know whether the mother-in-law of Calvin Brutus, who was installed in the police quarters in the Mountain Branch compound, whether she's still there. Civilian, the man put his mother-in-law, who is a civilian, to live in the police quarters in the Mountain Branch compound. I understand that this very quarter that was identified for another rank, but not another, a rank. The quarter was identified for a rank. And I tell the rank, no, you can't get the quarter. The mother-in-law got to go there. And you know, when the Chief Justice warned them on the 28th of June 2021 that she found Calvin Brutus to be self-serving, Chief Justice said so, not me, I'm just repeating. She found him, based on all the evidence presented in court in the matter that she dealt with, she found him to be self-serving. And what did they do? They left him in admin. They put cat for watch milk. They put cat for watch milk. And that is the result of cat watching milk. They're drinking out the milk. They put rat with cheese. They're going to eat out the cheese. That is what is going on. I get so much more to talk on this matter. But I want to close out this one, CC, by we saw recently where the commander of Region 2, Chief Baran, I think is his name, right? He was injured while responding to some report of a robbery. He was there in some ATV, all-terrain vehicle, and the vehicle ran off the road or something, he got injured. I want to wish him a speedy recovery. But you know, that revealed a lot of things. Why is a commander of a police division responding to the report of a robbery? You see, this is lack of training. When you are in command, you're in command, you have to command from a central location. If you're responding to the robbery, you have given up your command of the division. You are now making yourself an unseen commander, and that should not be. You want to be at the headquarters someplace where you can have total command, so the people who respond, the responders, the silver commander or the forward location, whatever it is you refer to it as, they can feed you back. And if you got to get resources, maybe from Georgetown, you got to get resources from elsewhere within the division, you are in a position to coordinate that. But when you take yourself from the division headquarters and you're gone to a scene, then you're no longer in command of the division, you're in command of a particular scene. And this is the type of training these people need to have. I remarked on it when the Brigdam police station was destroyed by fire, because I saw Api, who was kind of the functional commissioner. I saw all the senior officers, all them government ministers, well, not all, most of the government, Ben and all them, at the scene at Brigdam. And I asked the question, what is the person who's sitting in the seat of the commissioner doing there? He should not be there. He should be at the headquarters trying to mobilize resources. So if you got to get people from TSU, you got to get people from training school, you got to get people from elsewhere. He is there at a central location organizing that, giving instructions as to how to respond. You got to communicate with the GDF. You got to communicate. He has to be in that position. But no, they're gone at the crime scene and at the scene of the fire or whatever. And I'm saying again, it is because of lack of training. And they want to show people that they're doing something. But people who know would know that they're doing the wrong thing. You can't be the commander of a division and then find yourself at a fire scene, a big fire scene like the breakdown place. You have got to take command from headquarters, where you have the radio, you have telephone, you have in contact with all the resources, so you can direct the show. The man at the forward command, some silver commander, will relate to you and brief you as to what's going on. But they want to run out to give the minister and the president and them the impression that they are so proactive or they are on the ball. It don't work, sir. It does not work that way. And again, I say that is lack of training, and people who know will laugh at you. You have a commander of the region, Division 2. They got a robbery, and it is worrying that a place like Region 2, Essequibo Coast, getting all these robberies. Back in the day, we know major incidents in Essequibo were one and far. Now it seems as though every week you hear about some robbery or some serious fatal accident or something in Essequibo. I am saying to them again that when you are in command, you are in command of the division. You can remove yourself from division command and go to the scene. Or even if that is done, then it has to be a formal arrangement where we know now who is going to be running the division. So in case resources are needed, you got to contact, well, the 2ICS state over, something like that. And that is, again, I say, these people are untrained and they're there in these positions. And when incidents occur, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. I understand they were told that when they have these major things, they must be on the ground. Nonsense. Nonsense. You have got to remain and command your division. Let's assume Uganda, something else happened someplace in your division. What happened? You're going to split yourself and go to the next one as well? That is why you need to be at a central location and have command. Because this is a single incident, but there can be multiple incidents. So if there are multiple incidents, what will you do? You're going to divide up yourself and run to all of these incidents? Let me bring in Mr. Conway, man. He's the trainer. CC.
It makes me wonder whether or not there was, in fact, a robbery, because we didn't get no details of any robbery, We didn't get no details of any robbery. The commander going on a robbery, full stop, and nothing more. But as you rightly mentioned, Paul, there are levels of command. They're gold, silver, and bronze. Gold sets the policy. Silver develop the strategy, and the brass just do it. And perhaps they commanded them as he taking the pattern off of the Minister of Home Affairs, run into the scene, go and disturbing the scene like go up at marginal and all about the place there. That you when you're in command and you can't run to the scene, or perhaps there's some, maybe by some very good be or some ulterior motive. If there's a robbery, why the commander gone there? Or was it a cook running? I don't know. But we have no details whatsoever in relation to the robbery. And why must a commander go there? What happened to his detectives? What happened to his station sergeant? What happened to the other people? And I think it happened sometime nighttime too. In nighttime, it's ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. And you got to look at your levels of command. Are you a silver commander? Are you a gold commander? Are you a bronze commander? And then sometimes you got to leave things to the unseen commander, reports to you, and then you give certain directions. You did it up there, but it doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound right to me that a commander responding to scene at a robbery. What happened with his other men? What happened with, something ain't right some way. And I wonder whether in fact there was in fact a robbery or there was other thing going on.
Let me tell you all this. I like to use my experience as an example, When I was officer in charge of the TSU during 1992, that October with the elections and so on. The policemen who are around will tell you, you get a radio set, and of course I'm on the ground. You get a radio set directing because I am the on-scene commander. I have to make decisions as to what is going on there. Commissioner of Police Larry Lewis, who had a radio too, was coming in and finding out, coming in and coming in. And I went onto the radio, and as respectfully and as professionally I could have said, I told him to stay off the airwaves because he is interfering with the operation. I told him as politely as I could have, given what was going on the ground, to stay off the airwaves because all he was doing was interfering with the operations. And he acknowledged and he remained off. He acknowledged and he remained off the airwaves so that we in the operational theater could do what we have to do. So, again, we say it is training. These officers are thrust into this position. They push them pitchfork into this position without the appropriate training. And therefore, that is why you get all kind of crap going on. They are not commanders. They weren't trained to be commanders. They are put there and they don't know how to command. So when something happens, they want to impress that they are on the ball. They want to impress. So they're running to the front. But again, I say to you, and this is to teach you, you have got to remain in command of your division. You can't be an unseen commander and command the division at the same time. You have to remain in a position where you have control of all the elements in your division. And that position is somewhere at headquarters or somewhere there. So if the thing escalates and you need assistance, you're in a position where you can call. You can relate to the commissioner, you can relate to operations, and they can then relate to sister agencies to make sure that the necessary assistance is given. So don't you're running and going to this thing. It is wrong. And again, I say, wish the commander a speedy recovery. We ain't hearing anything about it. Now, time run out for me, but we are going to talk about this big cocaine boss over the last weekend. I hear that the commander who was there has been removed and all of that. We're going to deal with that and more on Wednesday, God's willing. We're going to deal with that and more, God's willing, on Wednesday. We have had, 2 hours almost already, folks. And they said time flies when you're enjoying yourself. So I'm looking out this afternoon and maybe sometime soon for Kwame. The persons alleged to have been procuring sex from a teenage boy to come back and come with some crap and are ready for you. She, shit, it, or whatever. Are ready. When I say ready, not in that way. Y'all don't go there. I'm ready in that way. I'm ready to respond. I'm ready to respond to whatever it will come with. So let me understand this thing. No, I'm not giving up. They're not going to intimidate me. They want to kill me, but they ain't going to frighten me. I got to die someday. I know that. I know that they ain't dead. So all the money that they're thieving and all the things that they're doing, they are not going to die. They will live forever and ever. Amen. So that's it out, the thing angered me of course that of all the people they could send, the best they could do is to send Kwame Mackay. Kwame, that's the best you can do, PPP, government, Barrack, all of you. Kwame Mackay to attack Slow, to attack Conway. That's the best I can do. Look, all you, so and so. Some of these conversations really that I have on this program might be better if we're in a room shop where I can really express myself properly. I can't on this program. I won't do that on this program because I have respect for the students. I have respect for you, the viewers, who are here today in your record numbers. I have respect for you. Folks, as we leave today, I have to always remind you, people have been reaching out to me, People have reached out to me to provide them with this information that I have been promising. Continue. I get it. I get the information, and it's free. I ain't charging nothing for it. Just contact me, provide me. I ask us provide is your email and your thing, and I will email the information to you. It's about financial literacy, things that you ought to know. All of us ought to know that. But unfortunately, we're not taught that in school, and therefore we make all kind of mistakes. And I said it, even though the thing has a North American bias, it can be applicable to any part of the world. We have people here from from Spain, France, we have Suriname, we have all across the Caribbean islands. Anybody you want information, reach out, and you're going to see how best it applies to your particular situation. But I don't take nothing from me to provide it to you. So if you do that, give me, people have been inboxing me, giving me their email address and say, look, they would like to have the information. And I've been providing it to them, and I will continue to do so. So here we are at the end of today's program. I want to wish you well and to remind you, or to say to you now, that where they get monkeypox around. Well, one ought to have recognized that if you have that many monkeys that responding to you and coming and talking a whole set of crap, if you have that many monkeys in the system, call themselves government, call themselves information minister, you have that many monkeys, then you should not be surprised if you are infected with monkeypox. But I'm warning you, students, to be extremely careful. It was dengue, monkeypox, you have the carnage on the roads. Be extremely, extremely careful. And folks, what more should I say? Stay well. Stay well. Do everything to stay well. And God's willing, on Wednesday, which will be the 11th of September, significant day in the U.S., Wednesday, the 11th of September, we'll see you here for another episode of Speaking Out, exposing corruption and incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.